Hello, welcome back to the channel. I have wanted to make this video for 2 years now. I want to show you how we changed this kitchen, which we appreciated, but which was broken and out of date and not at all energy efficient. It was cold, dirty in a way that could never be cleaned properly, and someone else's kitchen design. We wanted to remove the wall that runs down the middle, splitting up the space into two dark small rooms that don't work because the width is not big enough for either room. And we wanted to renovate it into something that looks more like this. An open plan modern kitchen that follows the hot trends in kitchen design. A spacious living area that regains the space taken up by the supporting wall. It allows energy and light to flow. With stylish radiators in the right places that actually work. With two double patio doors which are double glazed. Two light wells, skylights in the ceiling that allow natural light to flood into the room. New windows and doors down the side of the house. I thought, how can I show you this project that took months to build? How can I tell a story this big? Well, every day this month I will release a video that shows the progress each day, so you can follow our trendy kitchen design renovation construction in real time. All of the videos each day appear in the playlist that's in the description below, so you can jump forward at whatever speed you want to get to the end. So let's take a look at how things looked right at the very start, and this isn't my voice, by the way.
So the idea is shower room accessible from the hallway door, which covers about half of that wall there, and then the rest of it is a utility. This fireplace is being knocked out. Kitchen units will begin about halfway along the fireplace, all the way pretty much to the end. Where this table is will be an island, and we're still uncertain where we're going to put dining and where we're going to put hopefully some kind of chair seating sofa area. This wall, just a small thing to mention, is completely coming out, including pillars, so there'll be no wall, so all of those cabinets will go. Basically the kitchen is being relocated to the other side of the room.
What were you going to say?
Well, it's just really funny seeing it now.
So this was how the kitchen looked, and we're going to give you a tour of the. I think this was 2 days before the builders arrived, and yeah, we're going to see a lot of this. Just to give you a full tour, let's go into the nooks and crannies. I mean, we had no storage space, did we?
No, not much. As you can see, but I don't think I tidied up for the filming either.
Yeah, well, I think this is actually pretty better than it looked some days. And look, there's the. Not only did this not work, we had a little heater there next to the cooker because only two of the rings worked. Yeah, two. Yeah. And this was the sink area, and this is the best bit. Look, this is actually a huge chasm that had opened up. We'd filled it with filler so many times and gave up because we knew kitchen was going to happen. And it's called the sink because your heart sinks when you stand next to it. And look, we've got some healthy fruit here among the profanity of junk.
Obviously some baking, and obviously you've got the scales out.
Yeah, and we've got a nice toaster.
A working kitchen.
Yeah, and look at that, we've got this really nice toaster in the middle of this just kind of bomb site of awfulness from the 1990s. But I like that we dual used it, you know, for clothes hanging.
Some of that colour is coming back. I don't think it will last, but it's just making a very brief comeback right now.
Great. So now we've ripped it out. We've ripped it out. It's gone. It's now coming back in again. But we didn't do it for trendiness. It wasn't to be a hot, trendy kitchen, was it? Look, we talk about the dual purposing. You can see the dungarees, but there's like a lesson for the kids behind the dungarees.
Yeah.
And I think you talk about the bread maker later. But you can see on the left-hand side that the water is actually coming through the walls. You can see the paintwork is bubbling up.
There was mould on the ceiling as well.
I don't know if there's any sound. There's no sound. Our son points out what's on the ceiling in a minute. But we're just giving you a full 360 degree before, and hopefully you'll understand why the after was such a big transformation. So that's the wall we're going to knock out, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how did we get the idea to knock the wall out?
I don't know, I can't remember. Well, we did have some plans drawn up, didn't we?
Yeah.
To start with, some grand plans.
Yeah.
Which we scaled back a bit.
Yeah.
And we did say we wanted, you know, the dream open plan dining kitchen area. And originally we were only going to knock the wall out part way, weren't we? We were going to keep some of the wall in to keep it, to make it cheaper.
We actually spent money on an architect, and that's why there are holes in the ceiling there, because a structural engineer came round just to see what was there underneath, just at the top of the picture. I think we just skipped it there. And this is my favourite part of the whole kitchen. It's the place we're sitting right now, where I love that window. I love sitting next to that window. So we wanted to turn that into a seating area, didn't we?
Yeah, that seemed to work best for dining, even though our table is a bit too wide for it. We could do with a slimmer 80 centimetre slim table. But yeah, it's fine. It was the best spot for it.
And this is the lounge area. So this is where we'd watch all of our TV, in this really dark corner of the house. It's the darkest area of the house.
Yeah, I heard that you should turn the darkest area into a utility. And that was the light bulb moment on what to do, how to lay it out. That's
a really good tip. So the darkest area, think of a utility room. So this is a walkthrough again, and this really demonstrates the Berlin Wall that we had on the left-hand side of the kitchen from circa early 1990s, and it had been built up over the years. So it was like two extensions that had been badly done next to each other. And then on the other side, you've got this room where we couldn't ever do anything. So we tried having the TV here, and it never worked, did it?
No, there was always a no man's land bit, wasn't there? That wasn't really good for anything. And you can see Casper was a puppy then, so the floor just got worse and worse, didn't it?
Yeah, and it we could never get anything in here, could we? It was just never wide enough for any furniture to go in without it feeling like a corridor.
Yeah.
And then over here, so we've got a lovely big picture window, and then we've got this frosted window, and we knew we could do something with that. And we had so many different combinations, didn't we? We were going to put the kitchen there.
It would have been cheaper to keep the kitchen in the place it currently was. So it was more expensive to move it over, but it definitely made sense having it along this side and then being able to look out and keep the windows where they were.
Now we've got French doors here. These doors didn't work. They were so warped that they wouldn't close properly. And this is what the back of the house looks like. I don't think we worried that much about how the back of the house looks. It was how it looked from the inside. But it gives you an idea that we thought we could put 2 double doors in there rather than the bifold doors, and that's probably going to come up over the days where we're commentating. But are you happy we went for French doors?
Yeah, well, also it was sort of a budget decision. Obviously it's cheaper to do French doors than a whole bifold all the way across, but also we were running out of wall space and places we could put a radiator. So another budget decision was not having underfloor heating. So we needed some wall space for radiators. So that meant we could have the radiator in the middle. And then I just like the, you know, how the French doors were kind of in symmetry.
Yeah, so this window is going to get replaced by a pair of French doors, and then the bricks between them will stay as this kind of central pillar that we can put the radiator on. But we just had a close-up there of all the pipes and the tap there. That's just where all the utilities are for the kitchen at the moment. So we're going to move the kitchen over to the left-hand side of the room. You'll see that as the days progress. But the first job is to knock out all of this and see what's left standing.
And the architect plans originally, that was the idea for the roof lights, wasn't it? And where we positioned the roof lights as well. Yeah,
we actually paid for an architect and didn't follow the plan because we're going to knock out the whole wall. But we've kept some of the elements of his design, so it was money well spent, wasn't it, in the end, I think, because it kick-started everything.
It did kick-start everything, but then it was years before we finally landed on a plan of where we were going to put everything. Yeah, we were talking about it for years. So, yeah, this is probably 4 years after we moved in. And I think 3 3/4 of that was spent discussing the different options. We just couldn't work out where to put the kitchen. Because we weren't building an extension on the side. It was a very long room, wasn't it?
Yeah, long and narrow.
2 long, narrow rooms. And it just wasn't quite wide enough. It just looked too long. But when we sort of bisected the room with the wall for the utility, yeah, when we did that, then suddenly the room becomes more of a nice rectangular shape rather than too long and too not so wide.
Knocking out that middle wall that I'm pointing to, it really freed up some space, didn't it? I mean, it's like 3/4 of a metre squared running the full length, so that actually gave us more floor space.
It did, but it also meant we lost all of those cupboards and all of that cupboard space.
Yeah. So this is some footage of
cleaning.
Casper, yeah.
An attempt at cleaning.
But this was earlier in the year, just to show you what it was like, as if you couldn't picture it anyway. This is what it was. This was what life was like in this kitchen. I think you're probably cleaning up some Casper. Something Casper.
Casper wee.
Now, you took so many photos. This is a photo of your scrapbook. So I've only found 4 of these, but you had like dozens of pictures for inspiration, kitchen inspiration, kitchen inspo. And it's funny that the 4 that I put into this video are, this one showed the skylights and showed the effects of the skylights and hanging lamps, which is good. But we didn't know what to do with the kitchen island, did we?
No, well, we needed to just play around with it, didn't we, and see where it would fit.
Yeah.
And how big it was going to be. And
so that kitchen island didn't seem right. But having a table in the middle looked good, but it felt like we needed to use the middle of the room for space.
We needed the island to be cupboards that would keep stuff in, because we'd lost a whole wall of cupboards by knocking the wall down. So we had to have the island to put everything in, otherwise we wouldn't have had enough storage. So it would have been nice to have like a big cook's table and just, you know, yeah, that would have been lovely. But then we probably would have had to have considered having cabinets down this side as well. And it was nice to zone it, wasn't it? And just have cabinets on the one side, and that is the kitchen area, and then this side is the dining area, and then there's a little sit-down area as well.
It was so hard because it was a blank canvas. It was completely an empty shape, and it was really hard talking to the designers about what we wanted, because we could have had the kitchen on any wall and in any corner. So it took a while to land the kitchen where we've got it now, which is down this side. This picture here illustrates my problem with kitchen islands. To me that just looks ugly, because it's a thin, right? Because it's a thin top. There's just something sharp and angular about it that it depresses me. It doesn't spark joy.
It's just a bit cold, isn't it?
Yeah, both the colour and the shape. And the stools, I don't like those stools as well. So the idea of this breakfast bar is the thing that you see. So you spend all that money on the kitchen, but all you see is this really ugly lip and backs of ugly chairs after you've spent, you know, 5 figures. It doesn't seem right.
Yeah, we needed it to look more homely, didn't we?
Yeah, but it was really difficult working out how that island would work.
I can't remember how we decided on. I know it was you who were quite insistent. You didn't want, you know, 4 stalls all the way along. So I think that was your idea, wasn't it? To put the cabinets in one end and just have a couple of stalls. Yeah,
you'll see on the later videos, you'll see what we went for with the island and how we actually got there, because we actually filmed ourselves trying to work out how to do the island. So this is after the building work started. And we're still working out where exactly the island is and what it was as well. So it's pretty much like when we moved in, but this is what the room looks like on our last night before the builders come. So this is a before. Get into the corner now, the telly's gone. And this is what the kitchen looks like. Well, this will be the area where hopefully we'll get some kind of seat and a table. And over here, this is what the kitchen looks like currently. Let's put some lights on. Get that shot again. I'm going to go right into the corner. There we go. I am calling this a Dad Delivers success. The first day of the build is in this playlist here, or you can jump to any day you want to see the progress. I've put more details of the gadgets down in the description. Say hi in the comments. It would be lovely to hear from you and your questions. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up or the subscribe button. It really helps me out. And right here is the complete new kitchen design renovation.